Hey folks, Adam here. This is kind of my first video I've ever made to upload to the internet to show other people, so I hope it goes okay. But I wanted to kind of demo a new tool, utility I've written that there seems to be some demand for out in the note-taking world, and that is, something to ship to-do items from your Markdown notes, like those you might make in Obsidian, up to Todoist. Looking at the forums, it looks like there's some desire for that, and I've got that desire, so I made that tool. I made this tool that I'm going to show you today. Here's how it works. So here's the URL to this. I'm happy to have critiques or pull requests or whatever. I know I've got a lot on my screen, so I'll make this a little bigger. But to install this thing, you can get clone from this URL here. Or you can download as a zip and extract to wherever you'd like. I've got it set up over here on my machine just under a projects path, but it doesn't really matter where you set this up. There's two configuration files that you're going to have to set, and this is all described in the README. But there's a config file that is a JSON file, and then a Todoist API config file. That's going to have your Todoist API token in it, which is sensitive, so I'm not going to show it on screen here. And you should, take precautions on your own computer to safeguard that. It's essentially a password, right? But these files that are underscored with template have some comments in them, which by nature make these invalid JSON files, but then like valid JSON objects beneath them, right? So that'll show you what to make these corresponding config files look like. And it's straightforward enough. I've got a big soapbox comment right there about what to do with your API key. So just as an example, this is how this thing works. I can make a to-do item in Markdown syntax that says make Eric buy me a Slurpee. And then just for fun, I'll put a URL in there. And I can say buy milk. Easy enough, right? These are Markdown syntax. Under the hood, we get that looks just like this, right? But then Obsidian does a nice job visualizing these things for us. So there's kind of two tools in here. And they're both invoked with Python 3. There's find tasks, which I can run, and that'll just print these tasks. And then there is migrate tasks, which I'm gonna pause this video and kind of fast forward it, because there's a check in here that if a Markdown file that a task is written in is less than 60 seconds old, it's not going to migrate that to-do item over to Todoist. And the thought there is, if I'm in the middle of typing something and I've got this tool running on a cron job, I don't want it to ship like a partial to-do in there, right? So that's why there's this 60-second timer. So I'm actually just going to prefix this with sleep for 60 seconds. And then after that, I'll let it run. I'll speed this up when the video happens, but about 60 seconds from now, we should see this pop into my Todoist inbox here. So let's just wait. Okay, so you can see now that these tasks just showed up in my Todoist inbox, and then these get crossed out here in Obsidian with a link over to that task. I just clicked that, it opened on my browser off window, which is incognito mode, so it wants me to log in, but you get the idea. Normally I could click this and it would take me over to Todoist, the web version, and it would show these same tasks there, which I could complete, or I could do it on the desktop app here. And then the same idea within the tasks themselves, there's a link back to the file from which they were parsed. I'm not sure what the implications are if I were to rename this file or move it. I've done some testing where I just move it from one directory to another, and these links back seem to still work. So I think there's some sophistication under the hood with Obsidian itself that's handling for that. But I wouldn't be surprised if you made enough changes or moves or deletions if these would break. But going the other way from Obsidian out to Todoist, these are quite reliable because they have an ID in the URL that is returned by the API when we create a task. So that's it. This is kind of the demo I wanted to show folks. There's a pretty robust README file out here on GitHub. Again, this is the URL. If this tool helps you, let me know. If you hate it, don't let me know. And I hope this helps. Thanks a lot.